Why I chose to be a motivational speaker. Welcome to Prof. Neil. Greetings to you all. And this is the first video of this series on motivation and inspiration. And today I will share with you why I chose to be a motivational speaker. This morning, after my stretches, which I do every morning, I look forward to making my cup of tea. But I look forward for the sugar bowl. I'd forgotten that I had emptied it out after ants had raided it. So the sigh, I took out the polythene cover from the cupboard and decided to make brew my tea. But I suspect the shopkeeper who had tied the polythene cover tight with 2 3 knots does make a living out of making the noose for the for to hang criminals. So tightly had he packed it, knotted it, and with my one functioning right arm, I tried to open it. I really tried opening the knot. It was difficult. At times it seemed impossible. It, my left hand, my left hand still is impaired. At age 28, within 1 year of my marriage, and with a baby in my wife's womb, I had a brain hemorrhage, with the left side fully paralyzed. My mouth had opened up till now. I couldn't speak. Even if I spoke, I should drool from here. Even if I spoke, you couldn't understand me. My shoulder joint had come out, my hip joint had come out. I was an apology of a man. I couldn't see the sight, I couldn't see here. And slowly from 1994 till now, with God's grace and with great friends and with whom I now knew who were friends, my extended family of my students whom I taught at the Institute of Hotel Management, their wishes and their prayers, my wife and a daughter, I am here today now. And as I was brewing my tea, and I was no, I was, oh, sorry, I was going back to the story. As I was trying to open the knot with my one hand, I was laughing at my inability to open, because if some years back I would have just cut it open with a pair of scissors, leaving it open again for ants to eat it. But with a little bit of years and with a little bit of experience, I realized nothing is so difficult in life. This is a very small challenge compared to what I faced earlier. My mind did go back to all those tough challenges of rising up from being paralytic to go to work with half side paralyzed with a walking stick in your hand. So all that, and the how would I put it? The plight of being a father who has not yet taken his baby into his own hands and to put her to his chest and to have her sung a lullaby to put her to bed, or had the delight of changing her nappies. I never had that delight, joy. So this is a very small challenge for me. But more, so that cup of tea this morning that I brewed, was ambrosia. Each sip was ambrosia. Each sip was pure and pristine amrit. After my tea, I went for a bath and did my prayers as usual, and I look forward to making my breakfast. I had planned to have bread and butter and jam this morning. So as I opened the fridge and I took out of course, I had to take out the bread first, make a trip to the dining table, put the bread there, put the butter, take the butter, put the butter, come back with one hand. Please remember that. I look for the jam, and then I realized, oh my, I had thrown out the jam bottle last evening because it had emptied out. I looked in the cupboard. There was a new bottle of jam I had ordered. Fortunately, very joyfully I took it and went to the dining table. Tried to open it. It didn't open. It was not as easy as a sugar pack. I put it in between my thighs and I tried to open it. Try as I might, it didn't open. So I gave up on that. I reconciled to eating bread and butter. Fortunately for me, by God's grace, the gardener came in early and I said, "Excuse me, can you open this for me?" And he opened it for me. So thankfully, I had bread, butter, and jam for breakfast. So these are little challenges that I face in my life. And I was sharing this with my friends on the phone, and I was laughing to myself. I was deprecating myself as I look at this. And the Srinivas, who's a former copywriter with Lintras in Bangalore, And Rahul Clifford Saluja, my student at the Institute of Hotel Management, Delhi, he's now a former, he's a former IBM trainer. And I was laughing with them, and I was laughing, and I mean, they did not laugh. They didn't like the humor. They thought it was black humor, which it was. I was laughing at my inability, and the joy I had in opening the sugar was something different. But they just cut me short, and they said that, sorry, this doesn't go. You are meant for bigger things and not to laugh at yourself. And it was Srinivas who tore me apart verbally and literally commanded me to start this mission. He told me, sir, he calls me Neil, sir. He says, don't deprecate yourself. You have two Limca Book of Records to your name. You are an accomplished IELTS coach online. You are empaneled with none other than the Aditya Birla Group to coach their corporate level employees for effective English communication skills. You are a published author. You are a top ranked Quora expert. And you've done all this after your paralytic stroke. You've been there, you've done that. It's time you stop laughing at yourself and start sharing how you overcome these challenges for everybody else to understand and to stay inspired. For even those like us who don't have a challenge, we think our little problems are big challenges. Compared to yours, they are nothing. So do that right to start. Well, with friends like these, who needs enemies? Actually, I thought to myself, I had a choice in the morning whether to cut open the sugar or have tea without sugar, but I chose to try and untie the knot. I chose to eat my breakfast without jam because it was beyond my capacity. So there were many things beyond my capacity which I could not do. But this made a little bit of sense, yes. So that's what started off this series of these videos. And of course, there's a background to this. I had a choice also then to accept my challenge, accept my disability, and live life as a disabled person, or to overcome the challenge and to be myself, to find myself again in the process, and to find a better me. I chose the latter, and I'm glad I chose the latter. Like I was glad I chose to open the knot than to cut it open. And this all happened in the backdrop of my former student again, Karima Prakash, who was a dean with the Hotel School of Sushant University in Gurgaon. She was planning a series of motivational talks by people who had overcome challenges in their life to motivate our students, her teaching faculty, her management, etc., everybody. And she said, the first thought I thought of is you, sir. I've seen you without a stroke when you're teaching us, and then after, and you are a great example of how to overcome a success, how to overcome a challenge. And so I'm inviting you, and there was no choice. Nowadays, my students, when they request, they don't request, they order, and it's a farman. I have no choice but to say yes. That's the relationship we share. And when I was told that I was the first speaker among several illustrious more names, I was nervous. So I chose Rahul. I said, Rahul, I got this challenge. I got this problem. He says, no, it's not a problem. I'll help you. Make your narrative. So I made a narrative, and for 8 days, we rehearsed this daily. Till I sort of thought I had got it right for my final delivery. It's in Rahul cautioned me. He says, don't burn yourself out. Enough. You put in all your efforts. Now on 1st May, we'll see it. After that came this forceful request from both of them. Came this forceful request from both of them that now that you've done that, You're an accomplished motivational speaker. That sounded, warning bells chimed in my mind. I said, what are these two up to now again? These two don't know each other. They're not touching each other. But somehow they have a telepathy of how to get me into trouble. I don't know how, but something. So both of them had the same idea. Why don't you start, or rather, you start now making. Rahul Clifford's eulogy, as usual, was his terse, cryptic. Said, sir, from tomorrow, today, not tomorrow, today, make a list of all the topics on motivation, aspects of motivation you can think of, and start making short clips on motivation, other aspects. We'll open a YouTube channel. And I thought to myself, and Srini joined in on that. Yeah, of course, Srini was more commanding than Rahul, and Rahul was equally commanding, but Srini was more commanding. So you do it, we're there to support you. So you're a master of the spoken word and the written word, so you do it. Technical support will provide you. So Rahul was there to help me out with the language and the technology, and Srinivas was there to help me out with the YouTube, etc. So I said, God, I have enough work in my hands. Do I need to do this again? But then so convincing was their argument that I could not say yes. So I chose. So finally I realized that life is what you choose to be. You choose to be happy, you choose to be sad. It's up to you. So that's how I decided to share my thoughts on inspiration and motivation in this series of videos, which I have put in a lot of efforts, and with one objective, that even if one person out of the entire audience, the entire universe gets inspired, I will consider my work, my objective realized. So thank you very much. Please, I request you to watch these series of short videos and subscribe to them. Take care. Bye-bye. God bless you and stay safe.